All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'll call to order the August Water, Sewer, and Engineering Committee meeting. I'll take a quick attendance. We have Courtney Ligavero, Finnan, Tara Parks, Deb Harris, Matt Yetto, and Ian Pulte and Laura Robertson. I will start by taking a motion to approve the June committee meeting minutes. Motion, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, those minutes are approved, and I'll take a motion to approve the July 9th committee meeting minutes. Motion, is there a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those minutes are also approved. I see we have a few members of the community here, so we'll move into a brief public comment period. I would just like to remind everyone that we follow the same rules that we follow at our town board meetings. If anybody would like to speak, go ahead.
Yes.
Okay, hi, Kevin Walsh. Thank you for, as always, the opportunity to speak. I was hoping to get here before we increase the Chobani deliveries, but it appears that that's already occurred on Whitmire Drive. I still have the same safety concerns that I've had for many years now, and just want to, keep hitting it. That I'm concerned about the large vehicles and the capability of Whitmire Drive to be able to handle that traffic, including the ingress and egress off of River Road. As you know, they were going to left, and that was put to the end because of the weight limit. They were violating the residential, weight limit. So they can only go west, right, coming off of Whitmire Drive. Well, in order to go right with those large trailers, they have to stay all the way to left on Whitmire Drive. So you cannot access Whitmire Drive when a truck is coming out, and they have to take both lanes of traffic heading east and west on River Road, have to stop in order for those trucks to be able to exit. That shouldn't be news to anybody because it's very, you can see it. It happens all the time. And I see it all the time. So I'm still asking for qualified traffic safety engineer to evaluate the road for its adequacy and the intersection of River Road and Whitmire Drive for its capability to be able to handle those trucks. And as you know, many years of planning board experience, and if this project was in front of the planning board, we would have recommended a traffic study to go off to show that the trucks could be able to safely enter and exit the site without any impact to the neighbors or safety of any of the neighbors. But since the town is exempt from planning and zoning, it doesn't occur, but that doesn't stop you from having the capability of being able to perform those studies. Speed is still a concern. I see certain, that's driver dependent. It's not everybody, so I don't want to say everybody's speeding. They're not, but it's definitely driver dependent, including Chobani trucks. One today come around the corner. I was out in my yard working. There's no way they were doing 10, and you don't 10 miles an hour, and you don't have to be trained to understand how fast they're going. I go around that corner all the time. They're definitely 25 miles an hour easily on that corner. They need to stop that. So that's my concern, and I'd like to see something done about it and some kind of study performed. And a county referral if you haven't, because that's a county road and these trucks are shutting down traffic going both ways. So again, I respectfully ask that occur. And I got one question. Are you still flaring up the methane? Yes. That's been quite a while now that's been occurring, several months at least, probably. Right. So as far as green energy, you're basically burning it up and putting it up into the atmosphere anyway. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? Okay, then we will move into attorney's items with Elena. You have it?
That's great.
Yeah, I don't have anything. I just thought that piece of it in, but I don't.
I don't think findings for all the easements. There's no further requests at this time, so.
I had nothing either. I didn't. Okay, engineering. I just left this on there to a little bit of an update. Van Antwerp Road, Knott Street drainage. I know there's been some discussion about the drainage coming from the wetlands behind the library and coming down here and crossing the road here on Knott Street. Did work with the maintenance company up on Knott's Landing. They made some changes last year to the pavement and the gutter to keep the water on the pavement and into the basin that's at the bottom of their parking lot to retain the water and have it go through the proper practices that were part of the project. They might have to do a little bit more grading with soil nearby. I couldn't tell because everything looked good. I just want to be over there and see it during a rainstorm. So I know that the paving part is complete. I just want to confirm with them that they don't have to do any additional grading. It would be only a matter of inches if it doesn't need anything. Water and sewer maintenance. An update on the water main repair replacement project on River Road by GE and Knowles. The design is, I would say, about 90%. We're just waiting on funding for the project. Once we know that we have good funding for that, we'll move forward and try to get that out to bid. I have to appoint a maintenance worker as a tentative resolution. We're still looking at 2 open positions. If we do have good applicants come forward and we have a name to provide to the board, we'll do so. But at this time, I don't have anyone. Last week, at the beginning of last week, we had a water main break on Curly Road. We ended up getting emergency approval to bring in a contractor to do work with the town forces because of the nature of the break and the depth and the proximity to Route 7. We ended up hiring Carver Construction to come in and help out. I have a very good idea of what the price will be. I'm waiting for the final bill, but it's going to be just under $8,000 for their time. We were able to keep that much lower than it would have been because we used a lot of our own forces to do the traffic control, and the state helped out with a crash truck to have set up as required because of the speed limit on the road. So working together, we were able to keep the cost down.
You said it was just under 8,000.
Just under 8, yeah. That would require resolution, that'd be finance, yeah. We've been talking about getting more involved in asset management, using computer software to track our water valves, fire hydrants, sewer mains, water mains, everything that we have out in the street, taking our paper maps and moving it to a tablet form. And there's a lot of companies out there that make very, very high-end software. Since there's some mid-line software and there's some really not so good software. Dan and I and Tony from the water crew and Cameron, we've been working with all these different companies to try to find someone that would fit our needs. And we ran into a company by the name of 64 Seconds. It's an odd name, but it's 64 and then seconds. They make listening devices that go on fire hydrants that listen for water breaks. And for you can get 100 of the sensors that they provide, mount them on 100 fire hydrants throughout town, and they listen continuously for water breaks. And if we had a break, and then as you drive by, we'd be able to identify it. The side benefit of their program, they also incorporate asset management. So they would house all of our mapping for our water, sewer assets out there, the pump stations, the water mains, hydrants, and also allow us to manage and track all of our maintenance on the assets as well. We're a full-blown software package like this can cost well over like an initial $50,000 investment, and then on top of that, additional $30,000 to $40,000 a year. They have a package for 100, and that's without any sensors. This comes with the sensors. For 5 years, it's $23,995 for 5 years. So it'd be well worth it. And Albany's using it right now. They have it on. They've done 100. They're on their second patch of 100 now.
I just bought them.
And they're finding breaks that have been that didn't surface that allowed them to get in there and do the repairs before they become major for saving water as well. I think it's a great option, and I think it's a relatively local company over in Massachusetts. We had the very good conversation with the main design team that came up with the hardware and the software. And it's sort of, a way to get us into asset management. We can collect more data as we go along. And then if we ever want to do townwide, like Colony has a full asset management program that they have for all their vehicles and all their, all the equipment, all the, water mains, all the utilities. We're not there yet, but this would be a way to bridge over. And then any data that we collect from this, we could extract back and put it into our own system onto Sims as well.
What was the cost again? It was 20,
23, circle there, 23,995.
that's for
That's
5
for
years.
5 years, yeah. And then
Per year.
that's total, yeah. And then they also, any issues with the devices while they're out for the 5 years, they take care of it. It's not, there's no, everything's
They have to
covered.
take care of what?
If you had a battery were to go bad on the
Okay.
device or something, they cover it all.
So these sensors get installed on the fire hydrant?
Yeah,
Inside the hydrant?
that's what it looks like. This bolt to the top. And what Albany's been doing is they take the reader and they put it on the garbage trucks. So as the garbage truck drives around town, it just picks up the reading.
And then where does it send that readout? Does it
Goes
send
to
it
the
to your
cloud.
phone or your email or?
It goes right to the cloud. Yeah, and then we can access it through tablets.
So let's say this hydrant here detected a water main break in the middle of the night, it's not gonna send an alert to your.
It won't send an alert, because it's more so for the brake set that happen and run underground, that never surface. A brake that's a major brake will most of the time surface and you'll see it. Like cracks on in areas of shale, the water will never come up to the surface. It could run for years without even knowing it. And right now we have 3 of those sensors that we place around town, down on a little string, down onto a valve, and we have to go retrieve them, download the data, and then try to correlate and find the breaks where this would do it all the time. And as we drive by, we would collect the data.
You know how big that little sensor is, how qualities?
Like a
6 inches?
like a V8 can, yeah, a small
Yeah.
soda can.
So that would probably get in the way of hydrant pressures, wouldn't it?
No, they're low enough they don't get in the way. And the good thing too is I did tell them that we have some older hydrants that have a different design. They would include any mounting hardware that would be necessary to do it.
The people other.
They said, Albany said that some of them had, and then I think they just ended up painting them like red or yellow with the hydrant.
Oh,
and
you
they-
can?
and that's me.
They're pretty rugged. You have to hit it really hard to break it, but just something to think about. I think it's
The main purpose of this is for leak detection, right? Leak detection. A side benefit is there's a whole GIS software that goes with it. And so that's where we're looking to, hey, it's a good way to start getting this GIS. We've got a lot of the GIS data. We just haven't got a good way of using it out. And so this would be an avenue for being able to use it out in the field.
yeah. Our guys, they show up to a water break. They take out a full set of plans and roll them out on a truck.
So the data from that could be stored on iPads that are in the vehicles or.
It's stored on their server, and then the
We can add
iPad,
that
yeah,
to
yeah,
iPads.
Once they're there anywhere.
anyone, yeah,
No
any
cellular.
phones can do it. Desktop computers can use it, and they're even going to do a custom application for it. So as when they're flushing fire hydrants, right now when they do a fire hydrant flush, they have every hydrant has a full front and back sheet that they fill out all the details, how long they ran it, any issues, which one it was, and all that data gets left on a stack of paper. So when we have an insurance claim, or they want to know if we're maintaining our hydrants, we have to go through stacks and stacks of paper. This would update it all on the cloud. Yeah, and we'd have access to it.
Did they give you an idea of what the cost would go up to after that 5-year period?
They said, Albany just did it, they held it. Yeah. And if we choose not to go forward, we get all our data back and we just apply somewhere else. If we want wanted to, but I think it's worth just for we have sections of town where we know just because of the underlying formation of the rock, that if we get a break, it could run until it gets bad enough that it causes major damage to the road, and I'd rather catch a break when it's small and you're not wasting water and you're not making the cost that much more. Could we use capital one for this? The 2001 water distribution?
For the 64 seconds?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
you would want to.
Yes.
I would like to see some of the other ones you like that, just because I know some systems do all of that kind of mapping, but also help to tie out to billing in the end and have that capacity.
Okay.
So,
We have a list of quite a few little.
okay,
You can talk with a couple of them, suppliers of this GIS,
okay,
asset management stuff. And in general, they're typically, I mean, price tag, like you were saying, $20,000 to $30,000 a year with an upfront cost of 50 plus to get started. So we're thinking this is a good way to maybe get started.
And we get legal location as well, which is a huge benefit. Okay,
I'd be, just one last thought, I'd be curious too to see what the fire departments think of it, not that they really have, I guess, much of a, it's our hydrant, but with the equipment that they use on the hydrants, this would interfere with it, or, I mean, are we gonna spend $23,000 on this, but then the fire department's gonna have to go buy all new equipment?
I think we could have them give us a demo. We could take,
Yeah, that'd be great. to see.
mount it on there and then we
Absolutely.
take a look at it. That's it. No
Yeah.
problem
I
at
mean,
all.
even just to have them mount one of the devices on a hydrant and have the fire department come up to it and open it and flow water for a few
Yeah.
minutes and see if it has any type of adverse effect.
Sure.
Not that I think it would, but just to see.
It's at Ray's meeting this morning. I saw that it's a resolution for surplus equipment. I have some things I can add to the list. I'll get Elena okay. Utility billing, the reconciliation for the 2025 spring residential bills should be ready for the next meeting. I'll go over it with Deb as well, so that she's familiar with the process. Chris has everything put together and just doing a check and make sure the numbers are working out. Water and sewer rate study update. I know there's a meeting, is it September 4th?
That was,
Yeah, which will be directly following the committee meeting to go over an update from Martellus, what they've gotten done to this point. And someone from Martellus will be here to help answer any questions and discuss it with anyone who wishes to be done. I see refunds for overpayments. We had two accounts that they were unrelated, but they just happened to happen at close together. One was Momentive and one was Dominican Retreat. There was a error made when on the account for Momentive when they set up their meter. So one of the reasons why we want to get rid of our current billing software. Their meter was showing up as a larger meter than it is. So the water going through the meter was overcharging. And over the course of 2.5 years, they overpaid $134,000, $542. So we're going to refund that. The changes already been made in the system, and because of this, I did have Christine go through and check every account with this type of setup to make sure that there were no other issues, and she did not find any. And then the Dominican Retreat, there was an issue with compound meter at this location where compound meters have two heads on them. And when this meter was changed, the numbers on the meters were, the number on the heads were switched. Clerical error. And that resulted in, an overcharge on that account as well. 29,256. But that's water and sewer. Both of those numbers that I mentioned are encompass both water and sewer charges. That's been corrected as well in the system.
What was it, 26?
29,256. That was over the course of 4 years.
So $170,000 total, somewhere around there.
So we discussed the proper way to do the refund care, and that requires a resolution to do so.
Where is that?
Yeah, it'd be from fund balance because it would have been money that would not have been collected in the past anyway. So property should get out of fund balance. Wastewater treatment plant, an update on the organic waste program. We are still seeing 2 trucks a day from Chobani. We are looking to increase by 1 truck per week start, and we'll see how that goes. But Kevin, you may notice that the septic haulers have not been coming down the road. We decided to, for the moment, stop accepting fog, which is the grease that the septic trucks are bringing. And I'd rather bring in Chobani waste because it's better for the plant. It's one less, you're having 1 delivery rather than multiple trucks for the same amount of delivery. It's easier for the plant to process. So that is the plan right now. We don't want to ramp up too fast anyway. So we're still going to be doing 2 trucks this week per day, and then 2 trucks and then 1 additional truck next week. So 2 trucks per day and 1 additional truck. And that will be a slow process ramping up, and we still watch digesters and see how they're doing, so we don't upset them. And you did mention that we were flaring the gas. The issue with the gas being flared was due to damaged pipe within the biogas system. We repaired the pipe was repaired last month, I think, or just a little bit beyond that. And we have to fix the scrubber that takes the hydrogen sulfide out, which was damaging the pipe. We have the material to retrofit the scrubber that was delivered 2 weeks ago, and we'll be awarding a contract this month to pay a contractor to make that switch. Once that is done, we completely plan to get that gas system back on as fast as possible. So the flaring will stop at that point, and then we will benefit from the biogas and the net energy savings. Sludge dryer repair. We have quotes from a company in Texas to come in and to finish the repair on the sludge dryer, and also a quote from a local company to assist. That was all part of the money that was approved from the repair reserve last month. Hopefully, so the plan is to get that awarded and get that up online as quickly as possible. I mentioned on item C, I mentioned the hydrogen sulfide scrubber. That's planned as soon as we get the approval from the town board to award the contract. We can begin that process as well. We did a pretty extensive amount of quite a bit of research. We went and visited other plants, talked to other operators, and we can and work with an engineer to come up with a plan to replace the existing media in that scrubber, which was not working correctly, with a different type of scrubbing material, which other plants have had much better results with, and it requires a lot less, maintenance, and it lasts longer than the wood chips that were part of the system that we have now. Plant mechanic, we have an opening for a plant mechanic and a plant operator trainee. We are interviewing, I think we have an interview tomorrow and then interviewing next week, and if we have names, we will provide them to the board. The influent grinder, that's at the head of the plant, needs to be repaired, but we may take this opportunity to look at alternate technology, because the ones, the grinders that are in there now do require quite a bit of maintenance, and there's simpler designs out there that would be much easier to maintain and last longer and require less maintenance. So if we're going to have to invest money into this, I'd rather explore other options before we invest money into the existing expensive piece of equipment. So I don't think there'll be a resolution ready for this month, but I just put it on there just to put the board on notice. The SCADA control system at the sewer plant, we talked about making changes to that, improving it and repairing the programming on the system. Kara, we talked about how we go about doing that as far as hiring a system integrator to do the work. Is it an RFP, the proper way to go forward, or do we have to be sealed bids? I think
I would have to look at it.
Okay.
Did we talk about an RFP
we did,
before?
yes, yeah. And I didn't know if we had a chance to.
That I haven't. I would have
Okay.
to look into that. There
If
was
we,
so much that day. We'd have to.
I forgot about that, I'm
It
sorry.
was a- yeah.
So I think if we can go with the RFP route, we'll put that together, and if we have to do sealed bids for designing and building it,
Okay.
we'll go that way, so. Okay. And the belt press may need new motor, one or two motors. We're still looking into it and whether or not it's something that can be fixed or need to be replaced. I don't have numbers for it yet, but it may be a tentative resolution. It may not be high enough for a resolution anyway, but I just wanted to put that on there. Water treatment plant and water pump stations. An update on our erosion control study at the plant. The study's up and running. We're running two different processes. We're doing water as it is leaving our plant, and we're also doing a modified chemical process to adjust the pH of the water. And we're seeing how that affects different types of samples in the test equipment. Based on that, we'll make adjustments to our chemical addition at the plant, whether or not we have to adjust our pH depth up to help control erosion. We'll have to see what the results are from the test. We're working with the county health department to keep them in the loop to know where we're going with it. Water District 3 pump station control valve replacement. We had prices from a company to come in and do the work for us, provide and install the valves. Come up with a different approach where we will buy the valves ourselves and use a local contractor, and significant savings. That's a tentative resolution, assuming that we can get a second quote for the valve itself. But right now it looks like we're going to save at least $6,000 a piece. There's two of them, so it should be a good savings. And the resolution is required. I'll provide the information to Elena.
The savings was $6,000 each.
I think it's something like that, yeah. If you look at the cost of having a contractor provide it and do the work. And the filter building door needs to be replaced at the water plant. I don't know if this is something that we want to do right now, but if I can get a second quote, provide that to the vote to Elena, and we could do a resolution for it, but I just put it on there in case we're able to get a second quote. Landfill and recycling, we had our electronics recycling and paper shredding event here at Town Hall on the 5th of July. It was great turnout. We filled an entire roll-off container with electronics and a little bit more than a full one, and then almost filled the truck with paper. And even with everything going on and everyone on vacation and a lot of other events going on around the town, we still had quite a few people show up. And met with contractor today to look at cleaning up the former transfer station site, removing some of the fencing, regrading the site to make it safer, to get rid of that the one drop off there where the old roll-off containers were placed, and then taking down the compactor building that was there, the enclosure, the old compactor, just to make it more fitting with the surroundings. There's not any, there's no set plans for the site yet. We just want to remove anything that we know we're not going to use again and clean it up.
So they're gonna provide a quote for that.
Oh, yeah. That may not even, I don't think the dollar amount is going to rise to
And
To residential.
take the fence down, right?
the fence again, grading, and then there is a concrete wall that have to be broken up, which is probably the big pains later. Yeah, and a good size hammer on a machine to break it up. And then the punch, I added one additional item here that reminded me just before the meeting. The punch cards at the old transfer station were extended the deadline to July 31st. This is just for the people who came in after the fact that they were filtering in, and we just had to pick a date and just be done. So we're gonna adjust the resolution, amend the resolution that was already passed. And I think the date that was decided upon was July 31st. I know it's already passed, but I think we haven't had any since then. It's been quiet.
Well, I've had since in between then
The old,
and now,
no, yeah,
I've had 7 more people come in.
yeah, so.
So
that
now-
covers
That's
it.
July 31st, right? That was all before July
That was-
31st,
Yeah,
and then nothing since then.
right.
We just don't want to keep extending it because
Yeah, no,
we could
yeah.
keep going and going and going. We just have
Yeah.
to pick a date. So that's all I have.
All right, anybody have anything else?
Do we ask the question?
Yeah, we can take a couple of minutes.
I just, I have two, with these kind of meters that are going on to the fire hydrants in order to detect leaks. Now, do we have like any calculations, like in that old Niskuna area or the areas that you say are more critical? Do we understand what the current water loss is?
No, that's why
So we have nothing to compare to. Okay, so with these devices, we're taking on an additional $40,000 a year for, like, I guess it's the subscription to, are we renting them or are we owning them? And that's it, there's no yearly fee that's attached to it. Okay, well, that's good. And then going to the wastewater treatment plant, you know, obviously, we've discussed in the past meetings that there's been a lot of issues and a lot of leaks. And I see that you've, you know, definitely visited other plants and stuff like that, and you've definitely have called out different issues with the plant, associated with the plant. So is that pretty much going to fix what the issues have been over the years?
As far as which section
Well,
are you talking about?
Well,
The gas?
we were talking about pipes leaking.
Yeah, that was the
Okay.
gas, yep.
So it just seems like there's multiple problems with the plant, so,
Yeah, so the scrubber is what takes the hydrogen sulfide out of the methane.
Yeah.
And if you don't get that out, it damages the pipes.
okay.
So we,
You've
we fixed-
identified the problem, so should
Yes.
we be good now?
that is the plan. I don't want to spend money on something that's not gonna work.
So it was supposed to generate revenue. Is that gonna be a possibility again or no?
Well, it's generating revenue, but when we bring in the waste and then it reduces it will, by using the gas for beneficial reuse, yes, it would reduce our gas costs.
Because I know from 2017 through like 2021, we were supposed to, gather for the budget over $1 million of revenue from that. And then we only collected 2,000. So my question is, with all these issues and problems, are we gonna be collecting?
I think last couple of years we've collected a substantial amount.
I think we're on budget as far as bringing in.
Like, how much are we bringing in? Because it's been problematic, so I'm wondering if that slowed down the revenue, and if it's fixed, is that gonna pick up the revenue?
It's gonna, fixing is gonna reduce our gas costs. It's gonna allow us to use the gas,
They're using natural gas
to use natural gas.
to fuel the,
That
That was my understanding.
For the point that it's the sludge and also for the sludge dryer and.
Okay,
so it's reducing our consumption.
Okay, so what was the budgeted item that we had money coming in? I thought it was had something to do with the yogurt.
It is,
The revenue.
yeah, it's a revenue from the tipping fee when they deliver.
Okay, so that was in the budget and that was like over $1 million over 5 years. So I guess my question is, now that I understand where the revenue is coming from, are we expecting revenues like that?
I
Do we
think,
actually realize it this
I
time
think
or
we are
no?
on track. Projected as well. We didn't have trucks.
Years, yeah.
Yes.
So that's why I'm saying, are the problems fixed and are we gonna start generating revenue now?
We've been generating those deliveries for the last year and a half.
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
question is, are we generating what we had projected in 2017, 2018, 2019 budget? Because in 5 years, we were supposed to have gotten like $1.2 million. So divide that up in 5 years. So are we meeting that? What is that, $250,000 a year, let's just say?
I think last year it was, yes. I don't have to see the exact number. but I think last year,
Okay,
chat later, Karen, but I think somewhere. It definitely wasn't what it was in prior years.
Yeah.
It was zero.
yeah.
And then we definitely substantially increased that revenue.
Okay, well,
So the
that's
value
basically
is
my
such
question.
dollars.
That's good to know.
I don't think,
Obviously, hopefully that we've solved the problems that have been occurring over the last couple of years.
and if you're asking if we've made up that revenue over the last 5 years, we haven't generated $1 million in the last years.
No, but as long as you're starting to
You're
generate
starting to-
$250,000 a year in revenue, that's good. That's better than nothing.
See the exact, I don't know that it was 50, but it's definitely not zero like it was for the previous several years.
And the other side of the coin on that,
Yeah, I know.
especially since we're all on septic on it. So we gotta put up with the traffic, but we can't even flush our toilet to the plant.
Okay, that was my questions. Thank you for letting me ask them.
Absolutely. Okay. If that is all, then our next meeting will be on Thursday, September 4th, 4:30 here in the Schaefer Room. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Motion. A second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, we are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks.